Hi gang, it's Professor Barker here. I'm looking forward to working with you in setting up our very own basic CSS layout. We're going to do several different techniques today, and I hope you enjoy what you see. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to get the lay of the land here. Let's take a look at the web page inside of the Chrome browser. Now this is the basic CSS layout demo.html file. Okay. At the top, I've got a header section. I've got a navigation system here. This dark band, that's actually the background color that's been applied to the body. As a student, you may have noticed many times when your container elements separate from each other, that has to do with your text. If I set a padding on this or anything else, it would help the containers come back together. So just keep in mind, setting padding will help fix those problems. We're not going to do that because we're doing something different. This light yellow section is the main content section. I've got an image in there and some basic text. I have another section down here at the bottom that says right column, so I'm guessing that you already know where that's going to go. And then the very bottom is our footer section. Inside of your HTML file, you'll find that I have some IDs set up that are very, very similar to what you're seeing on your page. The header up at the top, I called main header. This section is main content. The right column is right call, and the footer is footer. I like things that really make sense when I'm working with my style sheets, so I'm going to name it like it is every single time. All right, guys, open up your master.css. Let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to rein in this web page because there is no containment whatsoever. Woo, let's do it. Set a max width of 1024. Now I'm saving with Command S on my Mac. Go ahead and save it on your PCs as well. Every time you type a little bit of code, hit save. Inside of Chrome, I'm going to refresh, and let's make sure that yes, it did limit that body width. That looks good. The next thing I want to do is I want to center the layout. I want equal margins on either side of my body. So inside of body, come in and type margin, auto. That's going to make the browser calculate whatever it needs to have on the left and whatever it needs to have on the right, so I don't have to figure it out. I like that. There it is. Moves right to the center. The next thing we want to do is we're going to work with that main header where it says Basic CSS Layout Demo. Let's set a height of 200 because it's a little skinny right now. Refresh. That looks good. Then I want the text to be centered horizontally and vertically. As I was preparing for this demonstration, I was able to play around with something called Flexbox that we're going to take advantage of. Flexbox makes it so stinking easy to center your text vertically that I'm going to use it from now on. So here we go. You are still in main header. Come down and type in display, flex. This is the magic bullet. It's going to tell it what to do. There are two more things that we need to do. Justify, content, center. And I'll show you what that does in your web page. So it's going to center it horizontally. And I'm actually going to type in a note. Centers text horizontally. When you come back to this particular demonstration 3 months down the road, a year down the road, if you've got some kind of comment in there that shows you what we were talking about, it's going to help jog your memory and save you a lot of pain. I don't like pain. Okay, so let's do the other part, aligning it vertically. type in align and items, center. Oops. And I saved it. There it goes, perfectly in the center of your div. Oh, that is so much easier than what we used to have to do. Centers text vertically. Great. Now let's work with your navigation system a little bit here. I'm going to want each one of those links to stack up right after each other. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set a little bit of a height on this, padding and height on the navigation system. Let's set that to 5 pixels. Then height 45. Now you can see that I've got my links that are hanging down below. We're going to go target the list items inside of the unordered lists and make those behave. So nav ULLI. Float left. We'll start there. And there it is. Obviously, I want a little bit of space in there, so let's set some margin. I want 10 pixels on the top and the bottom and 20 pixels on the right and the left. There it is. Now, I can tell visually that that's not perfect. You guys can play around with it and make it perfect. If you want to, you can always apply what you've already seen up here for the H1 that we targeted for the header. Now let's deal with main content and right column. This is going to be a little different to get these two things to behave. What you're going to have to do is go into your HTML file. We're going to create a new section, give it a class of Flexbox Container. The reason I'm using a class is that I want this code to be reusable. And, I really don't like to work hard when it comes to coding. So use classes as much as you possibly can. Coming down, because I need to contain both of the main content and the other section, the right column section, I'm going to come down after the closing section tag for right column and put in another closing section tag. Now, just because I'm that way, I have to re-indent this to see my hierarchy. It bothers me if I can't see my hierarchy correctly. Okay, so we've got those two sections wrapped up in that Flexbox Container section. Now we need to target it. Come down to main content and right column in your CSS file. Type Flexbox. Whoops. Container. I had to think about what I wrote. Okay, Flexbox Container. There are going to be 3 separate display properties that we need to set. The first one is going to target Microsoft. The second one is going to target WebKit. And these are vendor prefixes. Okay, the third one is for everything else. Whoops. Okay. Wonderful. Let's refresh and see what it does. Oh, and there comes our right column. Wasn't that fantastic? It just popped right up there. And notice that it's the same exact length as everything in the main content section. This may have been another area where you've been struggling, is trying to get columns to be the same size. That Flexbox is amazing. That's what did it. Okay, guys, there's that. Now, I'm seeing a problem with my padding, as in there is no padding on my main content section and my right column. So I'm going to fix that. If you'll remember back from the HTML file, all of those things nested inside of Flexbox Container were section elements. So we're going to target all of them right now. Flexbox _container. Ha 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 ha. See that? That's what we want. Now let's put some padding on that puppy of about 30 pixels. I love space. It helps with readability. It helps with overall feel of your website. Don't be afraid of white space, guys. Okay. Let's take a look here. Oh yes, we need to do the footer. Let's go down and work with the footer just a little bit. In just a second, we're going to come back up and work with your image. Okay, footer. Scroll down to where your footer styles are. Now for my footer, let's make that height about 50 pixels. And I'm also going to want to center this text vertically and horizontally. Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah. So center it horizontally and vertically. So you're going to know that we need the display as a flex box. I'm just going to come up here, back up to main header because I know that's where I've got that code. Scroll back down. Oh, by the way, I copied it. I'm going to paste it. Oops, too low. There we go. Copy and paste. Okay, not horrible. It did not do what I was hoping it would do on the top of it, and that is because we've got some extra padding all along here. So you're going to have to go in and manually fix that padding. And let's start with nothing on the top because I've got a whole lot there. And let's see what happens if I put 20 pixels. Whoop. I meant that. And then nothing on the sides. Okay, not horrible. Yeah, not bad. I'd have to fix it a little bit. There's your basic CSS layout. Pretty easy stuff. Now, let's go back up here and talk about this image. I had some students approach me and say that they've had some problems trying to get an image floated where they wanted to inside of a web page. So I just want to cover that really fast. It's not going to take a lot of time. We're going to refresh our memories about what is happening with that image. So here it is. It's called flower. And I want it to be on the right side of my text. What we're going to do is we're going to float it. But I'm going to take it a little bit further. You could just float the image tag, but I like to make my images a little bit more special. So I'm going to show you how I make it more special. I'm putting a div with a class of image container. And I'm going to actually select that next sentence as well. And this stuff is all indented in there. Again, just for visual hierarchy, makes it a little easier. Now, so all of this can be moved as a unit. I like that a lot. I'm going to highlight my class and copy that text. Let's go over back into here. I'm looking for main content stuff. I'm going to put this class right below that and just tell it to float right. Let's add a little bit more to it. I want margin on the left and the bottom. So nothing on the top, nothing on the right. Oops. Nothing on the top, nothing on the right. 10 pixels on the bottom, 10 pixels on the left. Then we want a padding of 10 pixels. Space, space, space. The next thing I'm going to want is a little background color. And that's going to be B as in boy, CA98F. And now we'll have a better picture. You see, it just makes it a little nicer. Sets it apart a little bit more, highlights your text. It's just one of those design things. The other thing you can do now is you can target the paragraph tag that is right underneath that inside the image wrapper. So let's do it. Dot image image container. Let's give it a margin on the top of 15 pixels. Oh, did you see what I did? I forgot to target the paragraph tag. There it is. That will make a difference. Let's try that again. Hey, there it is. Okay. Now, if you need to, and it looks like this one's going to, you can always take off a little bit of the padding off the bottom. Okay, so top, side, bottom, side. Try that again. Okay, top. Sorry, long day. Top, side, bottom, right side. There we go. All right. Okay, guys. There's your very, very basic CSS layout demo, and I even showed you how to float an image in there. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. As always, do email me or post in the discussion area if you have questions. I love to help you. Be sure to reach out and contact me when you do need help. I'll see you guys in the next movie.